How are you? This is Shimronde from Providence Life Design, Life Design Topics. Okay, Providence Life Design is my interior design. Anyway, so how are you guys doing? I hope everybody is well. I am making this video because I have made a series of other videos that help to guide young women that need like mentoring, or they're just trying to like work through some things, right? None of us are above a little bit of advice. Yes, none of us are above a little bit of advice. There are some people that I used to watch maybe a year ago on YouTube, and I've had to go back and like reconnect, right? Because it's like, you got that whole culture, sis. You got all that advice that is like, oh, I need this right now, right? None of us are above that. So I'm glad that you joined. Please subscribe to this channel if you have not already. Okay, please subscribe, like this video, and this video that we're talking about today is going to be about celibacy. Celibacy is a useful tool. Let's start with that. It's a useful tool. Do I think that it is mandatory? No, because it kind of like puts a whole title on like a break of time. Celibacy is, when you use that term, you can't use that term and say, I'm going to be celibate until the right guy comes and talks you out of your drawers. That's not celibacy, sis. That is you know, just enjoying your sex life, I suppose, right? Depends on how old you are. Now, let me get some of my little disclaimers out of the way, because many people will disagree and some people may agree, people that are older. What I know is that there is something chemically misleading in a young woman's mind up to a certain age when it comes to like things that are relative to dating. It's like, it's better for you just to use your energy to figure out like, what do I like to do? Where in this world do I want to go and see and travel? Okay, this thing where you're like 21 and you're trying to like take on all this heavy hardcore relationship stuff. Listen, it gets hardcore relationship stuff because you are now stepping in the place of wherever the last woman left off or where his mama left off. I think that because there is something that can be chemically misleading in a young woman's mind, I feel as if that you have to be a bit more savage when it comes to dating. And when I say savage, I mean like less forgiveness. Forgive for what, sis? Forgiving him for doing what he's gonna do, or whatever advantage he was looking to take. He had full intention. That's the other thing you gotta understand about men. Men are wired differently. Like men, if they want something, they don't care how far they mislead you to get what it is that they want. Whoever wants to disagree with that, that's fine. Maybe you're raising your sons better, and maybe you're not an opportunistic, dirty old man. Okay, but that's just the reality of it, and that's the reason I have a video about mentoring, a mentee and mentoring, and that when it comes to like opposites, because you got to be careful with that stuff, right? Because, you know, at some point, somebody's trying to come along and take advantage. And I know this because it has just happened so many times. I mean, in my own life, with young women that I have mentored, it's like when they come and tell me, it's like, oh man, this is the reason why I'm doing this. It's because God knows that I've already been through that season. And like, here it is, I have to have this conversation with her and I can totally relate to it. All right. Celibacy is if you give yourself, if you realize like, wait a minute, I am falling too quickly in bed with men that I am dating. And it has just happened way too often. You're like, wait a minute, I need a timeout. Then you need to put a time frame on that, right? Put a realistic time frame on it And when you know that you want to release that season, you need to also tell yourself that you're looking to entrust yourself to do better. Okay? If you fall off the wagon, don't hurt yourself. Don't be mad at yourself. Don't beat up yourself about it. Okay? Celibacy is a useful tool. Now, me personally, I feel that when women start getting more up in their prime, I feel that the cloak of celibacy is useless. My opinion. Okay? I feel like it's useless because what happens is, while you got those young girl hips, honey, and you figured out, whoa, my body can do this, right? It's no longer the 23-year-old body. This is a different body now at this point. When you're in your 30s, you're like, man, if I knew what I was in store for, I wouldn't even have had sex before the age of 28. That is all waste. That's waste. That is. Can you guys please stop screaming? Excuse me. That's total waste. Those are starter boyfriends. That's why I've done videos here. It's like, keep the fellatio out of it, right? Especially when you are dating widely, okay? Not wild, wide. You should be dating many people at the same time anyway. Now, if you're dating many people at the same time and you're going about it the correct way, I'm going to tell you that celibacy is not hard. It's not like taking that pause, giving yourself that break. Like, wait a minute, my body is for me right now. I don't want anybody feeling like they have rights to my body. And when you're taking this kind of time out, it is so much easier to do that when you're dating multiple people. Because when you're dating multiple people, everybody is under scrutiny, okay? You are checking for everybody's representative. You're checking for every foot forward that they're trying to put. You're listening to all of this game. This sounds familiar. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Let's see. How does he behave himself when we go out? Can he keep his hands to himself? That's another thing too. If you go on a date with a guy and he is already physical with you, I don't even think there's a need for a kiss on the first date. Nope. If he has good intentions for you, there's no rush. There's no rush. He's trying to fuck you as quick as possible. Okay? There's not a good way to put that. Dang. Maybe you need to hear it that way. All right? Because you're watching a video about celibacy. You need to also understand that sex itself is an act of worship. Cooking is an act of worship. That's why it's one of my top 3s when I mentor women for them to learn how to cook. You need to learn how to cook, sis. The skill, you think it's not going to be important at a later time for whatever reason, it's going to be important, okay? Unless you know that you're always going to have somebody in staff to take care of that for you or whatever the case may be. But try and just get a few little dishes under your belt, okay? Now, celibacy, sex, cooking, those are acts of service. Those things are a form of worship. And because they're a form of worship, you got to think, is this person worthy of my worship right now? Is he coming to worship? Okay? Because if it involves his penis, he's coming to serve himself. He's coming to serve himself. If he is coming to serve you and just please you, then there isn't an additional pressure on top of him giving a little cunnilingus, okay? Like if you're there in your sexual journey. I personally will tell you that there's nothing wrong with a woman being in her 20s and being a virgin. Absolutely not. Because I'm going to tell you the muscle that you're going to develop. The muscle that you're going to develop is you are going to understand how to have non-sexual, progressive, fulfilling, reciprocal relationships with men without it being that part of you. You could even have intimate relationships without sex. somebody who just like enjoys your company, lots of great conversations, hand holding, you know, him checking to see if you're okay, that kind of thing. That's a nice guy, right? But pay attention. Pay attention. Be always on alert, ladies. Okay, please just be on alert. Okay, men are just naturally self-serving. Now, I say this as a woman that I have siblings, I have male cousins, I have sons. I'm a boy mom. Listen, this starts early, my friend. I think that's something that a lot of women don't even realize. It's like, he's self-serving. Where did he pick up that bad habit? No, they're born with it. They're born with it. And because they do not go through the same journey as a woman does, they stay with it. It doesn't leave them. Okay? So celibacy is great, okay? But you need to make sure that it's going to be a healthy tool and not a tool that you're going to be using to beat yourself up. If you know that you are not in a place where you can have healthy sexual okay? Then you need to just hold off. Hold off. You need just a pause and a break. Don't call it celibacy, right? Because to the wrong guy, in his ear, that sounds like a challenge. Oh, she thinks she's gonna hold that from me? Like, be careful with that, right? Just take it easy. Look at it like, let me take it easy on myself. Let me give myself 2 cycles, right? 2 cycles, 2 period cycles. That's what I'm talking about when I say cycle. Okay? And use apps if you can. Have an app that you can like always log when your period comes, right? Because a lot of these apps, they're going to allow you to put in like if there was a change in your flow, if there was a change in your discharge, you know, did you have sex? Did you have protected sex, unprotected sex? Did you have no sex, but you were just really horny? Like they're going to ask you these kind of things in these apps, okay? And it's going to help to like work. It's going to be in your best interest so that when you do eventually get into the great relationship that you've taken the time to heal yourself for, that you've taken the time to speak to God about. Okay, and be clear. I would even highly recommend writing in detail. If you want that man to have 1 child or no children, I don't care if you have kids already. It's okay. There's plenty of men with no kids. Let me give you a little bit of my story. I remember when I was a single woman, not a chick or child to worry about. I couldn't, for some reason in New York, I couldn't meet one guy that didn't have kids. It was so weird because after I already moved out of the city and then I became a single woman, I ended up meeting a guy who was my age and didn't have any children. I was so shocked. Wow, that was shocking. And you got to be careful because there's I find like a high percentage of like Scorpio men. Like if they don't have children already, it's like a lot of them, they tend to like never have kids. You got to be careful with that. I don't know what that is about that sign, but a lot of the men that I know who've either tried to have children and they couldn't, or according to them, they don't want any children. It tends to be a high number of Scorpios in there. But anyway, I'm not a connoisseur in that. Just a little note for you to kind of like put back there and to think about. So, you know, just be careful with that. When I now became a single mom, newly separated, I wasn't even divorced yet. Now I got 2 babies. All of a sudden, I was meeting guys that had maybe only 1 child or no kids. These guys are my age or older than me, and they had no children. When I then moved to New York, Florida, I ended up meeting a woman. She had a lot of kids. I think she probably had like maybe 3 or 4 of her own biological, and then she was caring for a bunch of other children. She was a sole caretaker for those other children. At that time, she wasn't dating any men that had kids. Nope. And for her, that worked for her. So I say that to say, if you want a man that do not have children, do not settle, sis. Because here's a lesson that if you're wise, you're going to hear it. You're going to take heed to it. If a man doesn't really want you, he may still keep you around, but you may get like slighted. He may mistreat you. He may like verbally or mentally abuse you. He may like breadcrumb you, you know, give you like the bare minimum to keep you around. Like he will keep you around in a relationship for 3-4 years with no intention of engagement or marriage. Like for me personally, I think that you're going to know within 6 months if you think you have a good chance with this man, and you're going to know, he is going to know within 6 months if he knows that he's going to marry you. Okay? He may not ask you to marry him at that time, but he's going to know within that time if he's going to marry you. All right? If you do not get any engagement within the first 1.5, 2 years, and that's your intention is to get married and then have children, run. Be out. Be done. You may not want to block him on everything, but be done. Like cut off your contact with him, cut out reaching out with him, stop taking his calls, all of that stuff. And then it's going to allow you to kind of see like the real him. Like if he's really an asshole, he's going to show the real asshole during this time, okay? But if he is really trying to get you back, he's going to be relentless about his efforts, and he's going to be clear about where the direction of that relationship is going with you guys, all right? So please do not ever stay 2 years of your life, of your good juicy, you know what I'm talking, them good juicy, listen, don't give anybody 2 years of that and you're not getting what you want. That's a waste of time. And let me tell you what is worse than, listen, wasted time is worse than wasted money. Because I'm going to tell you something, you can always make back that money. You can find a way to flip it. You could hit it high. Like money can come. Money is great energy, right? But your time, that's the threshold of your fertility. That is, you know, how great you're going to look and the kind of wedding dress you want to wear. Like it plays such a big factor on many things. The youthfulness you're going to have to run after those little ones if you're looking to have children. It's like, please do not allow your time to be wasted. If you feel like, okay, I'm going to give myself a pause of no sex for the next 2 cycles, start with 2 cycles and then work your way from there. Some of you may realize, like, you know what, I can work it all the way to a year and not have sex. Why? And let me tell you something. When you do that, because I've been there before, you are going to be like, oh, thank my stars that I had patience and I bet on me. Because you're going to realize that you almost slept with somebody who was a little cuckoo. Or a little off, right? Or he's a little cuckoo, a little off because he's trying to balance all of these serious relationships at the same time. That's something else too. That's what all that crazy erratic behavior is about. It's all the stuff that you don't know that he has going on, right? And that's what breaks my heart whenever I see women on social media crying, telling the whole world, this is what he's doing to me. He's doing this. What, sis? You should have probably either changed locks already. You should have already had a boyfriend over. Like you should have already been doing other things. That's where that pain comes from. The pain and the long suffering comes from us spending too much time in a spot we're not supposed to be in. We're not supposed to be there. Why do you think God wants you to go through strife in a relationship? No. Ease. He wants you to rest in your femininity. You bring something that a man doesn't have, right? We could be raga, we could have our dreadlocks, we could be a bald, and we could just be so feminine. Don't think you need to have weave hanging out of your butt to be feminine. If you like to wear pants all the time, experiment with dresses and skirts. If you don't want to wear high heels, get yourself some kitten heels. I live for a kitten heel, okay? Like find those little things that are going to help you to remain in your feminine. Put that attention on you. Because a lot of that hurt comes from us putting attention on somebody else when we are not getting what we need. Right? So when it comes to celibacy, if it's for religious reasons, may your prayers be answered. May your prayers be received. May your dua be what God needs from you. Okay? And put purpose behind it. Because this is a form of fasting. God in this time of celibacy, I want to get to know you better. I want to get to know me better. I want to know what my likes and my dislikes are. Like, put it in writing. Do a journal entry. If you don't have a journal, go and get yourself a notebook, sis. And keep it and write in it regularly. If you have dreams, wake up, write in your journal. Right? So make a journal entry. Talk about what it is that you want that celibacy to produce for you. Okay? What you want it to put it. I'm sorry. Please go back. Right? Okay, I just don't need the noise. Right? Because I'm over here trying. Because before you get to this part right here with the little ones, you really need to make sure you put the time into yourself. It's so important. It really, really is. You know, I did travel. I did a bit of traveling. I lived a few places. I did a bit before I started having kids. So then when I started having kids, it was like, you know, that's why I don't think it's a good idea for women to have children too young. If you want to get married young, that's fine, right? But give yourself time to really experience life. Really experience what your vagina does and does not do. What it likes and does not like. Right? No, I'm sorry. No, please go back in your bedroom. Thank you. Right? Self-serving. They start that way, sis. And then they never ever let it go. Never. Anyways, if you want us to hash out a thought, it's very easy to get to the core of these things. If you want to do so, the link is going to be in the bio on where you can schedule a little time with me, and I will happily walk you through something. If you want mentoring, that's fine. We can create something that's specifically for you. But in the end, I want you to be well. I want you to feel fully served. I want you to be okay. All right? So celibacy, it's good, right? But don't use it as a tool for you to hurt and abuse yourself. All right? Be kind to yourself. Say kind things to yourself. It's okay, you fell off the wagon. You got to think of like, what attracted me to him? You know, what did I really like about him? Did he misrepresent himself? Was there something I was supposed to see and I missed it? Because then if that's the case, that's okay. Pay attention to that and then think about the next time if you can identify it when it comes your way again. All right? All right. Yeah. And if you are getting up there, like if you're in your 40s, like I have, you know, if you're an older woman, listen, maybe you need a maintenance man, right? Maybe it's not celibacy. Maybe it's a maintenance man, because I'm going to tell you, there's some tricks and things that you can do in bed that you're not going to be able to do when you get to a certain age. You want to get the memories in, okay? If you want to just take some time to yourself, that's fine. That's why I have a video right here on YouTube about getting a maintenance man. That's a ministry unto itself, okay? I know a lot of y'all Christian, religious folk won't want to hear that, okay? But it is a ministry, okay? That is where you get the physical benefits without the emotional stress for the time being and for the purpose it needs to serve. So, if you're still a virgin and you're in your 20s, that is okay. Trust me, you got decades and decades of sex ahead of you, okay? You could be 60, 70, still dropping it like it's hot and getting it good. Yeah, don't feel in a rush that you need to have sex. Don't do that. It's not necessary. You're putting too much pressure on yourself. So stay blessed, love yourself, speak kindly to yourself, subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already, and leave a comment. I appreciate those. Sometimes I kind of find those like kind of like after the fact, but you could also join my Facebook group. It's called Life Design Topics. This is Shimronde from Life Design Topics. Be blessed.